Hi, this is Nancy Earl, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And I have a gentleman here from Australia. He's written this really cool book. It's called The Afterlife, A Journey to Now You Know What Will Happen. And this is really cool, you guys. And his name is Stephen Paul Chong. And Stephen, welcome to High Road to Humanity.
Nancy, thank you for having me on your program. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so excited, you guys. This is going to be a big deal today. We're going to talk about the afterlife. Now, I'm going to preface this before I even read his bio. He says he had a very profound spiritual awakening occur in 2019 after he fell 5 meters off a ladder and he fractured his neck. Now, this life experiences is what he's known to understand to be a pivot or a turning point in his life. So that's when he had to choose what happened after. So it was about 3 months into rehabilitation when things became a little clearer. And he's here to tell his story. And he tells it in the book. Let me give you a little bit of information about Stephen. He is an M.Ed. He's a highly sought after professional development coach. He's a keynote speaker and an author. He shares his passion for life with everyone that he meets. Over the past 25 years, you guys, he has provided guidance and motivations to countless people through his inspirational messages and ability to bring the best out in people. I really like that. Stephen's wise observations of modern work and personal life will give you insight into how to release your highest potential, a rich and fulfilling life. I will tell you, I didn't read this whole thing, but what I did read, it was captivating.
Thank
So
you.
tell us your story.
Oh, Nancy. Well, after that introduction, I have to live up to it, don't I?
Well, you got to tell the audience about your book. I mean, they've got to pick this one up. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Well, I tell you where it started because, in actual fact, see, I'd written these books. I'd written 5 books and screenplays and things, but I'd stopped. I'd said on the wrong side of 60 now, and I'm done. Like I'm going to start planting tomatoes in the garden. But then I've fallen off this ladder 5 meters, and I'm on the ground. I can't feel anything, and I thought, oh, I'm in trouble.
Were you in your office? Where were you when this
No,
happened?
I
I
was
wanted to.
and I can't show you from where I'm just out. I can see it from here, but like any good 60-year-old does, he gets up and cleans out the gutters,
Yeah, I do
and
that.
uh, and the ladder slipped,
Oh my
and it went through
God.
all these like the louver windows. So there's glass everywhere. I'm just on the ground, but luckily,
Okay.
because it was a Saturday morning, and my wife is normally out doing things,
Doing
shopping or
her
whatever,
thing. Right, right,
doing
right.
doing a thing, but she happened to be here this particular morning, and she hears the
Mhm.
crash, and
God
she was,
bless, right?
oh God, there's the angels to be sure looking after me, because
Right.
we're very remote here. We've got no near neighbours, from.
So you could have laid there for a long time.
Oh yes, I because I couldn't move.
Gotcha.
But the revelations as a part of the book did not happen at that time. They were when I was, and I'm on the couch for 3 months. I'm good for nothing, and and it's like that divine itch, you get in your head. And I had the title of this book in my head, and I said, "Leave me alone. Go away. I don't. I'm not.
I don't want
I'm
to deal
not.
with it.
I'm not doing anymore."
Oh my God.
But to a point, you've got to scratch the itch. So I said, okay, you want me to rock to the universe, to God, if you will. You want me to write this thing. What do I know? You have to tell me, show me, whatever. The afterlife, I don't know.
Do you know who you were talking to at this point?
Yeah, the character was very clear to me. I had his name straight away, and I'll reveal his story in a wee bit. That all as soon as I accepted and said, okay, I'm in. You want me to write? I will do this, but you have to show me. So then, as soon as, because I'm a very disciplined writer,
Right.
so I sat and I put my fingers on the keyboard, and as soon as I did that, I started to see and hear, and I saw the colours, these magnificent colours, and heard the music, this extraordinary music. And I had no storyboard, no nothing. no descriptors. It was just there, and every time I sat, the next part of the story came through, and
Right.
I just it's like taking dictation, and the
Well,
writing.
well, I want to ask something, if you don't mind. You take this back, and what really shocked me is you talk about a time where you were in a boys' school and you were abused. And I want you to, if you don't mind, tell the audience about how all this came out and how you helped another, and how what we do down here really matters. Because I hate to be such a down to the point here, but what we do here matters.
Oh yes, oh absolutely, and the consequences are profound
Yeah. And I want you to
in the
talk
life
about that.
eternal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, again, I'm seeing through this character's name is Athar, as you recall from the.
Athar, yes.
Yeah. So he was in life, and as a child, he was abused under the auspices, under the care of the church.
Right.
And he subsequently suicided later in life.
Right.
So he is stuck in this purgatory, these mists, by virtue of the guilt and the shame and the hurt and anger that he feels. He can't get out. He can't see a way out.
Right.
And it was only by virtue of forgiveness,
Mhm.
forgiveness of one of the other characters is the bishop
Right.
whose insouciance he was abused. So it was their forgiveness of one another that released them both from this purgatory. So, as you say, these actions that occur in life have such a profound effect in this life eternal.
Right.
It's extraordinary. And
Well,
then yeah.
no, I was just going to say what really shocked me was, it was really interesting because it's true. The bishop kept saying to this angel who was with him, I've sent all these people and I've helped God and I've taken I've saved all these souls and I've done all this. And how
Yeah,
could
yeah,
it be
yeah.
possible, that I'm not just welcomed like this? And it was his ego. That's what really
Yes.
caught me on this one.
Yes.
And
Isn't
if
that
you want to
interesting?
if you would talk about that, because it's like, it doesn't matter. That really hit me because I just want to say, and I want you to elaborate, if you will, it doesn't matter, what you think you've done. You can't save anybody. I like how it says in the book, and I wish I could find it right now, where God said, where the angel says, God loves all his children. He's going to forgive everybody. And the most
Yeah.
important thing is how you treat people.
Isn't that interesting? Well, let me give you a bit of background with that, because after
Yeah.
it was really interesting after writing the book, and you would know you read these things 100 times in edit,
Yeah.
and it was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months after I completed the writing, it was like, these voices in my head said, Stephen, you're missing something. What? And I read it again, and it was a total revelation. And what I found were these 15, and I've called them the laws of heaven and earth. So
Yes.
these metaphysical laws that were embedded in the text that enable life to be a far better place. Let me give you an example of that one we
Yeah.
were talking about.
Yeah.
I've got it here in front of me.
Yes, please.
What you have cause to affect in your fellow man is what declares your place in heaven.
So what
Because
we
we're,
do down here, because you talk about the robes, you say there's different color robes. And
yeah,
so you can tell what people are working on by the colors that are emanating from those
yes,
robes.
yes. Again, this is all what I'm seeing. So souls coming out, if you can imagine these beautiful grey mists and like this
Right,
portal, and
right,
these souls are coming out of these
right,
mists,
right.
and they're robed head to toe like a total, uh, um, like almost like a dress, but they're and multiple colors. Some souls in like beautiful, bright, gold, white, and they come out of these mists and go up to certain levels.
Do they
But there were,
levitate?
uh, no, I just saw them walking.
Okay, I'm
But
just curious. I don't know.
I'll tell you a bit more about that later on.
Okay.
But there were other souls dressed in brown, Hessian dark,
Yeah.
and that. So the color of the robes determine the road you have to follow, no choice. I saw a character who was dressed in these brown, dark coloured robes, trying to go up to the higher heavenly realms, and they were totally debarred. They could not do it. So there is a road by designation of the colours in your robes that determines the road you have to follow in heaven.
So what we do down here determines what level we're at, because we're learning. No judgment. There is no judgment.
No judgment.
Up there. It's just that when you see that person, I thought this was interesting, then you kind of know. I'm going to read what you say here. You were clothed in a multicolor hues that describe what you need in your station or level within heaven's domain. You say the best I can describe these robes is like an aura. I think that was kind of cool, from the condition of your robe. And the judgment of heaven, here's what I was thinking about. The judgment of heaven, you say, is neither vindictive or eternal, but probationary and remedial. So
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And that's one of the laws that I picked up. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. So it's an evolutionary process. You are not judged and then stuck like you wherever. You still evolve through the heavenly realms.
Now, I'm going to rewind a little bit. So in the beginning, you talk about the silver cord, which I talked to so many different people about the silver cord. I talked to a lady last week. She had a near-death experience, and hers, she said, was like a bow and it stretched, but it didn't break.
I heard that, and I thought that was quite amazing.
Yeah.
I just saw that before. Yeah, that was cool.
So what did you see? I want you to talk about the silver cords.
The silver cord is what I saw is from the heart, and like a laser beam, if you will. And like in a near-death experience, that cord is not severed. But of course, when we die, that connection to the body is no longer, and it's severed. And so there we are. We are in heaven. So it's a silver cord that connects the soul to its bodily host, as I understand it.
So what you saw, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. I want to understand this, because I read in the book that some people, when they were going up and they had the silver cord detached, they were confused. Other people were like, oh, this is cool, let's go. And they were like happy to go. And other people were like, not sure.
Yes. There were a number of levels one level that I saw, there were souls on like a beautiful garden area and magnificent buildings, but there was a garden area where these souls were reposed, and they just come through, just passed, and they were being tended by angelic beings, because these angelic beings knew that there was going to be trauma when these souls woke up, and they were needed to be tended by loving hands. That's one of the many things that I saw. Yes.
Right.
No soul left untended. Nobody's. Everybody's cared for.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe that we all have a guardian angel that comes with us. And you talk about that too. And I want to bring that up because I found that really interesting. There is a spirit guide school, you say you saw a school where souls are taught how to be guardian angels and what they do to help those who they're assigned to on earth. So we all have one, like I believe, correct?
Yes, absolutely correct, Nancy. Okay. That's exactly what I saw.
Okay,
and if you again, I'm seeing through this character's eyes, and he's got a master guide, and he gets taken into this, and you could imagine the buildings. They're not just like a regular house. These are beautiful alabaster Greco-Roman type buildings that I saw and did my best to describe. But in this case, we go in, and it's a school where angels are taught to be guardian angels. It was like I saw this lecture theatre.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
And this array of souls are taught by master guardians what to do, how to look after us here on earth. They are, and I understand that they are always here for us.
Right. We're always. Never alone. Right.
Never separate.
I love that.
From our point of view, it's a listening process. We have to listen to them. We think, please help, and praying is probably a good thing. But to me, it becomes a listening process. Ask a question and you listen for their answer because they're there for us.
Right. Well, I've learned, and the audience knows this because I always talk about it. My angel's right here. She stands right here next to me. And so when I do a reading for someone, I just ask her and then she tells me. I don't have the answer. It comes, I'm the conduit, but
There
she
you go.
always has the right answer. It's
Yeah,
amazing. And
it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, it's just like, wow, okay, so this is so cool, you guys. This book is really cool. You're gonna have to pick this up, I have to tell you, and it's called The Afterlife, A Journey to Now You Know What Will Happen. And this is crazy, actually, because some of it was kind of scary.
You weren't scared, were you?
Well, no, I'm not scared, but but you do talk about purgatory, because we all have this
Mm,
life review. It was so funny. I had this lady on, I don't know if you saw it, and she said, I didn't want to deal with the life review. I asked not to have the life review, but we all have to have the life
yes,
review.
yes, I think that's right, Nancy. There's no escape from that,
Yeah.
as I understand it. Yeah, and one of the other really important laws that I discovered as part of that process
Yeah.
is the emperor wears no clothes. Hmm.
I
So,
know.
so my understanding of that is that no matter one station in life, are you king, prince, or pauper, it doesn't matter. It is what you have done to your fellow man that determines your place in heaven. So through that life review process, you are stripped of, oh, hey, I was the bishop. This
I
is my
know.
see.
Yeah.
If that doesn't
He was
put
like,
the
don't you know
wind,
who I am, God?
yeah, and what I've done for you, yeah, yeah,
And God's like,
yeah, that,
no.
yeah, no, no, sorry.
It really was an awakening. I have to tell you, it was,
Thank you.
even
Yeah.
though this stuff, and I talked to so many people, thank you for writing this one because it really, there's so much that you talk about. Okay, I want to get into the part where you go to the stadium and you're with, or the bishop is with this gentleman, and they
Mm-hmm.
go and they sit down, and there are these souls that are in these recliners. I want you to tell the
Yes.
story. And the angel
Oh,
comes
yeah.
in. Okay. And now I want you to tell the story, but I want to understand, does everybody get this healing, or is this just
Oh,
explain
that's a
this?
very good question. Yeah. So let me give you a descriptor. So the what I saw was this huge Colosseum, like if you can imagine the Roman Colosseum,
Right.
just like that, and it's replete, totally full with all of these souls have been summoned, called.
By a bell.
Uh,
You say a bell
Yes,
ring.
by a bell. That's what I heard the bell, and that was a summons to all of these souls to come into this arena.
Right.
And what I saw was these magnificent colours, and the sound of the Om sound. So the whole stadium is resonating to this Om sound. And in the middle of the arena were these repose lounge, just lounge chairs. And I'm sitting there, what the? Remember, I'm just seeing this through the character's eyes.
Yeah. Now, how many people are on the ground there in these
Oh,
chairs? How many people are we talking about?
if I,
I mean,
not
approximately.
specific, probably about 10 or a dozen. I saw,
Okay.
and they were these, into the stadium come these little seraphim, beautiful angelic figures. And they brought in these deformed, decrepit souls that had great illnesses and deformities. And the seraphim put, they were charged with each sort of soul with a melody, and that deformed soul was placed on a lounge chair, and it's like the lounge chair enfolded them, like a warm blanket in winter. So it sort of
Okay.
enveloped the soul,
Yeah.
and then into this arena come this majestic being, this angelic figure,
Did it
gold,
have
beautiful,
wings?
white.
Did the angel have
No,
wings?
no, 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 no.
No
Just
wings.
no, no, no
Just
wings.
light. Just
Forget the
light.
wings.
Forget
No,
the
no.
wings.
Just in that, all in that same robe, but the magnificent colours, gold,
Okay.
white, shimmering.
Okay.
And he stands in the middle of this arena, and he takes the energy the from the crowd, and he molds it in his hands like a spinning ball, a magnetic ball. That's why in the book I call it the magnetic coral, because that's
Okay.
what it was, a spinning ball of energy.
Okay.
And from this magnetic ball come out these laser beams of light directly into these souls on the lounge chairs.
Okay. So it came from the people who were saying Om. It didn't come from
Yeah,
the divine. It came from them.
this angelic being is
He
taking
brought it
the energy
together.
from, he's brought it together.
I love it.
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what it was. And so
Okay.
these beams of light shine into these souls on the couches.
Right.
And then, he does angel does his thing, and then he folds the energy back and he kind of says, "Oh, thank you," and walks out. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then these souls on the lounge chairs are totally healed. They are totally renewed. So they get up and go, "Wow, you're not like, I'm better." But what I understood from that experience afterwards was burdens of sins that are imposed on others on earth are not,
Energetically.
yes, are not borne by that particular soul. So if I did something bad to you that caused you a malady or a sickness or a deformity of something, you are relieved of those burdens.
Gotcha.
They're taken away from you. You're healed. Me, on the other hand, have to endure the consequences of what I did to you. No escape from that. So I've caused you pain and suffering. Let's say I gave you a bad drug, or make something up. I gave you a bad drug that caused you something, bad things. You don't bear the consequences of that. You are healed of that malady.
Right.
Me, though.
How are you healed? How are you healed?
I have to endure the consequences of those actions.
And
Face
how
that
do you
life with
endure
you.
those consequences? Like, what do you have to do?
Well, there's a good question. Let me give you an example of that that you may not have read. It was the latter part of the book. The priest that sexually abused Athar, the main character, he was stuck in this horrible, like I was walking down this tunnel, sounds of horrible sounds and
Like a
screamings.
violin. No, I read this part.
If
I
you can
read this
imagine
part.
a horror program, that was it.
Yeah.
And this character, this priest that had abused this child,
right,
he was stuck in this terrible place where he was so afraid of the consequence of people coming to get him for what he'd done.
for what he did.
We're
our own worst enemy when we get up there. It's nobody condemns us, we condemn ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. But it comes back to what you've done on earth. You have to endure the consequences because, what you do to another, you do to yourself.
So let me stop you a second. From what I understand, and I want you to confirm this for me, from what I understand is you have to feel what it felt like for the other person.
Yes, that's it. That's a beautiful description. That's exactly what it is, as far as I understand. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is that oneness in spirit. So what I've done to you, of course, to you,
you've done to yourself.
You have to feel that.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's the way it works.
And then release that feeling.
Yes. Well, there's a forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the great tools of evolution. We have to forgive ourselves and forgive others for what they've done to us. And that, to me, as I understand it, is like the key that turns the door to open up to higher levels. Right. Forgiveness is the key.
Right. God, this is so interesting. You also talk about, which a lot of people talk about, the Great Hall, which is the Akashic Records. I've had a lot of people come on the show who've written, there's been so many books written, it seems like, about the Akashic Records, people accessing them. Yes. What did you talk about? What you call it the Great Hall of Learning. You say, I saw in the Great Hall of Learning resides all the great wisdom found within the universe. How cool, yes. Right?
Cool, isn't it? Yeah. So again, just imagine I'm seeing through this character's eyes and huge marble alabaster buildings, and inside were these student souls everywhere in process of learning. But then tomes, magnificent tomes, all surrounded. Through all these different halls in this magnificent building where you could access information, past, present, and future, that assisted your evolution through the heavenly processes. Mm-hmm. So this character, Athar, he wanted to go back to Earth I'm perhaps giving a bit of the way of the book here, aren't I?
That's
But so he was able to access information that enabled him to fulfill his purpose.
yeah. Well, and that's another thing. People are all looking for their purpose, like why they're here.
Yeah.
What did you, okay, how did this change you? I want to know how this changed you personally. I mean, were you just like floored by this information, or were you just like every time you had a vision, you wrote like crazy, or what?
That's a very good question, Nancy. And I've got to tell you what's happened subsequently to the writing.
Yeah.
It, the 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 learning I've received has been totally profound. So it has changed my life. I see things completely differently now.
Right. I bet.
But what happened about 3 weeks ago, I lost my dear mother.
Oh,
Uh,
God bless.
she'd been very ill, well, for 2 or 3 months, and she was palliatively
I'm
looking
sorry
after
for
her.
your loss.
She was such a beautiful being, an angelic being of the higher realms. So
Ah,
she's greatly lost. But the point I make is the knowledge I've received from writing the book has been profound, but now it's been connected to an experience of, if that makes sense. So I now, like, the grief I feel from the loss of my mum is not grief that's debilitating. It's grief that's totally empowering. I know where she is. I know the higher levels because
that
of the
she's
beautiful things
at. Yeah.
and I know where she is. In here in the heart, and I know how to access her. That, to me, whilst I feel grief for her loss, it's totally empowering. Absolutely, totally empowering.
So have you been in contact since she's passed?
Well, I got to tell you a little secret. I can only tell you half of it because I don't know the rest.
Okay.
What I know is she's going to tell me about the higher levels. So she's going to download at some, I don't know when, I don't know, I know nothing more. But
Okay.
what I know is that she's going to tell me what the higher realms are like.
Now, how did you know she was angelic?
Oh, she ministered to so many people. We're doing a ceremony for her tomorrow.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and apart from the 300 odd people that are going to be there, we've got interstate and international links for people. She toured the world
Oh
and
my
helped
God.
so many people. She was an angel. No,
She was an
no.
angel. I love
Yeah,
it.
beautiful being.
I love it. That's really,
So
that's
so the
beautiful.
yeah, it is. It's quite a bit hard. It's hard. You grieve for the loss of a
Yeah.
loved one, but
Yeah.
it is an empowering loss, not a debilitating one.
You talk about the colors, but also tell us about the music in heaven.
Oh, Nancy, I did my best to describe this. The colours, if you can imagine, see the 7 colours of rainbow multiplied by 100. The music, and I'm sure I didn't do it justice in the book through limitations of my own whatever, but I heard the music, and it was just totally beautiful, and it was love. Love was that was the mix of, it was the love so profound. That
Okay.
was the music, that was the light, that was the color.
Right. Because love is all healing.
There you go.
That's
That's
what
it.
it is. Okay. All right. Now, you talk about the robes. We talked about the bells. What else do you want to tell people about our life down here? I'll just get back to reality. Our everyday life is tough. I tell people to connect every day to the divine, to bring in that energy, to bring up our vibration, to stay
Mm.
centered, and to watch what goes on, to be observers, but try not to take that negative energy in and not get mad if somebody cuts you off in traffic, and bless them if you bless them instead of all of that. But I mean, it's tough, and it is hard. I mean, I know we're in school, and I know whatever we do down here makes a difference, because that determines where we're going to go. And I
Yeah.
want you to talk about this, because I can preach all day long, but I want you to tell people.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you two other. You may not have got to it in your readings, but I'll tell you 2 other places I got taken to.
All right.
And one was, I called the school for children. Now, again, imagine the same Greco-Roman beautiful buildings and the music and the colours all around. And I got taken again, I'm guided by this master soul, and we go into this school. I go, what is this? And as soon as I walked into this building, and it gives me tingles just to think about it now, it was a love so profound. I could barely describe it in the book. But what it is, or what it was a school for children that have passed from the earthly realm early. So infants that have died early.
Okay.
They get taken into this school and they are so lovingly nurtured. There's these angelic beings in this school, and they're all tending to these little fledglings, children that have passed early from the earthly realms. Okay. They are so, the love that they were given was so profound. And my understanding was that every child, no child is left behind.
Right.
Even if the bond between the parent and the child is tenuous, the child is brought to their primal spirit. None are left behind, and so beautifully loved by the Father. It was, I mean, I could only imagine the grief of losing a young one.
Right.
But to know that they are so lovingly tended by the Heavenly Father is a balm to the grief, to be sure.
Wow. Now, did you see any other deities? Like, did you see Jesus or Mary or?
I've got to tell you something very interesting.
Okay.
When a new character, again, I met a new character in the book, I would always ask, what's your name?
Yeah, who are you?
I'd get the answer straight away. Yeah. Straight away, I knew the answer. So, that was cool. But then there was this totally angelic, a master soul that he appeared. And I say he, it's, it doesn't do, it's he or she.
Yeah.
And I asked three times, so what's your name? And I never got it. I was never told what this master's name was.
Okay.
So in the book, I've just called him the master because that's all I had. Right. But he was the one that was like the overlord, the grand master of a great heavenly realm. And at the end, I'm giving away the end of the book now, aren't I?
You guys have to buy the book. It's really good. Honest to God, it is.
I'll give it away anyway. But he took me, and I say me through the character, up through the levels, and up to like standing on top of a mountain top, and we're looking down upon this vast expanse of universe. The colours and the music were so profound. And he was the master, whether we call him Jesus or Buddha or whoever, doesn't really matter, but he was a master of the realm. Right. And what I saw was these beautiful, vast expanse, like a matrix of color and music, which was the universe, the divine playground, if you will.
I love it. Now, did you see people as they were coming up? Did you see them meet their loved ones, or they have to go through a healing process first?
Oh, now there's another interesting place we have to go to.
Okay.
I'll keep giving away the next part of the book. Doesn't matter.
You don't have to, but it's really interesting.
It's all good.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm just so excited you're here because this is really interesting. I have to say, it's a wonderful account, and it's different than anything I've ever read.
Thank you. Well, let me tell you then about this. I've called it the abode of reunion.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, what I saw is I'm standing on top of this hilltop with this master guide, and there's like a plateau, grassy plateau, and there's all these souls milling about, and they're in conversation, and there's to the side there were the mists, like the mists of purgatory, and there's all these silver cords shooting over these mists. So they're not going through the mist, they're shooting over the mist.
Okay.
And they're connected to some of the souls that are in communion
Oh,
with souls there in heaven.
okay.
So
So
like I
like
do, I
a
ask,
relative or a friend or something like that.
so love is the bridge. So as I asked the question, what is this place?
Yeah.
And this is where souls, when we sleep, our soul is able to transit. And if we, like, as we do, we have problems or concerns or challenges, we can go to, in sleep, we go to this abode of reunion and meet up with a person, perhaps a relative. Love is the bridge, that gives us counsel, that helps us, gives us
And
whatever support.
sometimes we remember, and most of the time we don't, do we?
Now isn't that interesting? So again, but that's, whether one believes, that's what I saw. And then, like, when the body calls the soul back, that soul flew back over the mist and back into the body.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure we've all had experiences where, like, we've gone to bed with some sort of dilemma or a problem,
Right.
and we wake up in the middle of the night and go, I got it. I've got it. That's the answer. And maybe we write it down, or maybe we wake up in the morning and we forget it. But I'm pretty sure that's where we've gone during our process of sleep, to meet up with this soul, like assistant or guardian or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
to help us with that particular dilemma.
Cool.
That's what.
Did your mom get to read this before she passed?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Thankfully, yeah, in draft form, she did. Yes,
What'd
I'm
she
so grateful
say? I
for
mean,
that.
I bet she was just so proud. And so was she awestruck by it? I
Well,
bet she was.
you can read, go into the front part, and there's an endorsement from the Universal Storyteller. That's her.
Oh, that's her.
She's the Universal Storyteller.
Okay, okay, very good, very
Why
good.
don't you read it? It's pretty cool.
Okay, so hold on here. So
It's right in the front somewhere.
the acknowledgement
Yeah.
is
Yeah, it's one of the endorsements.
one of the endorsements. Okay, hold on. I have to look here. Let me see so I can find it. I just see the prologue and the acknowledgement. And hold on. Oh, it's before. Hold on.
Before. Yeah.
The
Sorry, I haven't got a
Universal
book in it.
Storyteller. Okay, here
That's
we
it.
go.
You
Here
got
we
him?
go. I got
Yeah,
it. Sorry about that, you guys.
yeah.
A little slow this afternoon. Okay, here's what it reads. There are many chronicles of the lives of those who have traversed the dimensions of existence that are said to be the spiritual path. There are also countless stories of those who have experienced near-death experiences and give us glimpses of that which awaits us after our transition from life. However, there are few who have brought to us details of the dimensions and path on the other side. The afterlife is one of those few. In a language both poetic and evocative, it takes us through the soul's journey through the dimensions of purification to its fruition of service to life. The universal storyteller, divine at play. I love that.
It's
That's
cool, isn't it? Huh?
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was
Yes.
a
That's
beauty.
wow. That is really, really okay.
I,
So what? Go ahead. Tell me. Tell me.
I had to call her the Universal Storyteller because I couldn't put mum there.
Well, you could have put mom. It would have been all right if you put mom, you know? All right, so I have a few more questions. You do address fear. You have all these different laws. You do address fear, and you say at the time of passing, closing the soul to all the awaiting love and compassion, knowing as we do that that life is eternal. I wonder if people are shocked sometimes when they get up there.
I, I could imagine, yes.
But I mean, because some people are afraid. A lot of people
Yes.
are afraid to die. And I think that's one of the reasons that God, gave you this information. What do you think? So that people aren't so afraid.
Yeah, I think that's right, Nancy. Let me give you two laws, and excuse me while I'll find them.
No,
There's
that's
two
okay.
that stand out.
Okay.
Number one law is fear not. You are never without the love of the Father. It's fairly profound. But there's
Mhm.
another one here. Let me just find it. Fear at the time of passing closes the soul to all the awaiting love and compassion.
Right. So if people are afraid to die, then they don't ascend as easily as what you're
Yes,
saying.
I'm certain that's absolutely correct. Yes.
And do you think that's why people like come back and hang around
Yes.
their loved ones and stuff?
Yes, I'm
Because they're
certain of that
afraid.
too.
Yeah.
Fear.
Now, I have another question. I thought about this as I was reading this, so you've got your different levels, and I've heard this before that they're different. You are really, though, I have to say, you were more descriptive than I've ever read as about heaven. Your mom was right. You were very, very descriptive about
It's
how
all a gift, Nancy. I mean, I'm only the messenger.
you're but man, God gave you some information here. And I'm really glad we're getting it out to humanity because people need to know this stuff. They need to understand. But so if you pass and you're at this level and like your husband or wife or your best friend is at this level, does that person come down to this level to visit, or since you can't go up, or how does that work?
Now, there's a very good question. I don't, through the process of the writing, I didn't see like that interaction, no. But as I said before, I'm pretty sure love is a bridge. So if we have a strong bond of love, there is no separation in that regard. So that is going to keep us evolving together. But if that bond is not so strong, or if it's been severed in some way, I'm certain that there are others angelic beings that will be there to wait and attend to us according to our specific needs. But love is the bridge between souls, no doubt about that.
Right. You do talk about you say vortices are the design of the power of arrant, passion, lust, envy, greed, gluttony, all these different things. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Again, what I saw, if you can imagine, I got taken through this landscape, burnt like a bushfire had been through, and the smell, the ash smell. So I got taken through this area and into this huge dark portal. Whoa, far out.
Not good.
Not good. Not good. And inside, remember, there's a guardian angel with me that's
showing you, right?
Showing me.
Right.
So I see these huge vortices of power.
Okay.
And I could go, what is
spinning?
This?
Just spinning.
Spinning vortices. Yeah. And there's these souls entrapped inside these vortices. And that some of them like trying to clamber out, and others are pulling them back. And standing around these vortices were these angelic beings. Oh my God, who are, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And in the vortices, this is not God's judgment or wrath. God doesn't judge, and he just loves. These souls are entrapped by choice. They choose, like the seven deadly sins: gluttony, lust, envy, wrath, whatever the other one.
They can't forgive themselves.
Correct. They can't, and they're trapped by choice. So until they repent and are able to release themselves from that power, the power of their own choice, then they're taken out by those heavenly angels they're angels in waiting. So waiting for that soul to repent.
To say, I'm sorry for what I did.
I'm sorry I've done. I let go of that power.
Is it, okay, I'm going to stop you. Is it forgiveness, or is it releasing that energy?
I'm pretty sure the second is probably forgiving yourself,
and then releasing that
energy. That power of that. They're captured by the choice, say, of lust. That's where they're stuck.
Yeah.
So until one releases that energy and repents, say, I'm sorry, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Then the angels can act to move them out to wherever they're going.
And the ones pulling them down want misery loves company. Is that what that is?
Yeah, they want to hang out, stay with me. I'm
miserable, so you might as well be miserable too.
Be miserable with me. If that doesn't turn us from there, seeing that, if that doesn't turn us from errant paths, I don't know what is, because it was pretty scary to see.
I know. So I have to ask you, oh my gosh, this is crazy. You guys got to check this book out. I'm telling you, it's called The Afterlife. All right. It's by Stephen Paul Chong. What has been the reaction? Because I was floored by the beginning. I read the first half of it and I was floored by a lot of the stuff that you said in here, but it's true. It's scary, but it's true, isn't it?
True. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, what have people said? Have they been like, oh my God, I better repent and be decent, huh?
Well, Nancy, as I won't say I'm immune from feedback, because that wouldn't make me human. But yes, I'm just a messenger boy. But I tell you what I understand.
What?
Is because the gift of the book is told through the medium of story. Now, story, as readers of the story, we can experience the different levels. So I know you're at the fourth one, which I'll describe. So you can read a book like that literally and go, good, bad, like, don't like. So you take it literally. But the second level, you could read the anecdotes, the parables, the fables, and go, oh, yeah, okay, I get that. Yeah, that's nice. But then you can go down to a deeper level, the metaphysical level, where you experience and understand the laws, the universal
the laws of the universe. Yeah.
Like what you sow shall you reap, universal law.
That's right.
So, but then what you're getting from the book is a mystical experience. So you read the book and you go, oh, I get that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's it.
I know. It's like, oh gosh. Yeah.
But see, that's a revelation of inner truth. That's the mystical experience that one gets from, being able to read and understand a book, the gifts that are inherent in the book. Mm-hmm. That's the great benefit of this type of story. People can experience their own inner truth.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's very cool. I really like it. So your responses, I would imagine, have been similar to what I'm telling you, that it's just really eye-opening, I guess.
Very eye-opening. And I can only, tell you what it's done for me in my life.
Tell me, what has it done for you in your life?
Well, I tell you the experience. It's made life such a better place because I'm seeing through a different lens.
Right.
You see the importance of the love connections. You're aware of the things that you do consequential to
what
others.
You say to people.
Yes, absolutely.
How it affects them.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, you're not too random about what you think. Because in the book, I'm not sure I described it totally, but thinking is a really powerful process, because what we think has consequences also.
Well, we're manifesting.
We're manifested.
Yeah, I've been teaching people that I just did a blog on it because, I've talked about the power of the spoken word, and the vibration goes out to the universe and the universe responds. That's how it works. But then it's gotten even deeper where I'm like, oh, well, it's what you think, because what you think is what you manifest. So you got to be careful of your thoughts, and then you have to learn to control your thoughts. And that's a whole nother deal. So,
we need more time for that.
All right. So I need to know. So you're still you're channeling mom. She's telling you. So the next book is going to be about what she tells you that are in the higher realms. Is that right?
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll let you know. So I know no more at this stage. I know it's just going to happen. Okay. So tomorrow is quite a profound day for me and my family because we're having the big ceremony for mum. So I suspect that sometime after that, there might be some revelatory processes. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Is there a website or a way for people to contact you?
Yeah. stephenchong.com.au, and that's Stephen with a PH.
All right. So, and say it again.
Stephen Chong. So it's StephenChong.com.au.
Okay. Because he's over there in Australia. So I just want you guys to know that.
All right. You on the end.
Okay. All right. I am so glad. Is there anything you want to leave us with today before we get out of here? It's been such a pleasure. And thank you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Nancy. Well, I tell you what, let me find another law that might be.
Sure. Of course. Pick one out that God wants us to know.
We are all one in spirit. What you have done to another, you do to yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
That's a great enabler.
Makes you think, really makes you think. Wow. All right, Stephen Paul Chong. We're going to get out of here for today, you guys. If you want an angel reading, go to my website, nancyyearout.com. It is under construction, but I'm working on it. And you can still book your date and time. It's just been a pleasure. And I can't wait to have you come back with your next book, Stephen. So
thank you, Nancy. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
All right, you guys, everyone take care and have a great week and God bless.